Hey, Lee Karaoke here. I wanted to actually record a quick video I know I haven't recorded a video. I just wanted to share like some of the things that I'm actually using Claude for, right? So one of the things that I'm using is this health optimization. It's a skill set that I actually created in Claude, and it's literally just targeting mostly 4 or 5 key variables, right? In a nutshell, if you were to define, hey, what is good health? What does good health really look like, right? Number one is your VO2 max. You know, that's a huge indicator of great health. The second one is definitely your heart rate variation, HRV. The third one is so sleep definitely adds to your heart rate variation, but it's not really the key things you're really looking at is your heart rate variation. You're also looking at your VO2 max. You're looking at your weight, and then and I would say those are the 3 key things. And of course, maybe your blood pressure. I would definitely look at your blood pressure. So if in a nutshell, hey, were to literally just stop you randomly and just take a couple of readings, first thing would be maybe blood pressure, your VO2 max, your heart rate variation, and that will really give us a rounded area, right? A really rounded screenshot or snapshot of what your health looks like. So literally, I connect all this. I literally download, because the challenge with these readings, you already have the data, right? The data is either collected from your watch, your Apple Watch, or maybe you have a Samsung watch, but it's already collecting all this data. The only challenge is that what does this data really mean? And how can you compile this data so that you can literally extract information, right? Useful information so that you can now improve, right? So I've been collecting this data for almost over 4 years. I think I got my watch right during the pandemic, and the good thing is all this data is literally just sitting there on your watch or on your phone, and it's in your heart, in the heart app, right? The Apple Heart app, and all you have to do is just download it and then plug it into this evaluation tool that I built with Claude. So the first thing it does is that, hey, it looks at my VO2 max. My VO2 max is literally, hey, how am I consuming oxygen, right? When I run, how am I actually breaking down oxygen? So I'm really in the red. I'm 27.96 is not great. I've been at 30 something before, so definitely need to improve that, right? My sleep on average is not great either, right? My target is to try and sleep, because hey, there's so many benefits of just sleeping. It's if all things are equal, right? All things are equal. Like, hey, you didn't have access to a gym, you couldn't work out, you didn't have the right monitoring tools, and all you needed to do was just improve your health. I would say the first thing you would do and focus on, besides exercise and diet, is literally just to get some sleep, because there's so many toxins that are actually removed from your body just by sleeping, right? Right? So I would say that is where I'm lacking. But yeah, so my steps a day, I've definitely improved. I'm trying to hit the 10,000 mark every day. Workouts, I'm definitely working on that to try and run at least the minimum is at least 3 times a week, but I'm trying to actually get to 5. If I could get to 5, that would be great, right? My sleep is already a problem, right? Deep sleep. Actually, that's where a lot of the detoxification happens, is about 53 minutes, The target, I jumped from 3 minutes plus 3 minutes. Oh, okay. So it was 50, but I jumped to 53 minutes. So I'm still working on it, but it's good to actually have some kind of benchmark that you can literally target, right? REM sleep, I think that's the range, right? 113 minutes. HRV, that's the heart rate variation. Target is to hit at least 50. And then VO2 max, like I would say VO2 max is really, I'm trying to get to at least, and it definitely goes down with age, but the higher the better, right? This one I gotta reduce. I don't even know, what does RHR stand for? RHR. Something heart rate, I'm sure. Resting heart rate. Okay. So I want to definitely reduce, the lower the better, right? Less than 54. So I'm almost there. But these two are, I would say this one is the biggest one, right? And I did weigh myself. I'm actually 215. 215. This was April 7th. Right now I'm 215 pounds, right? And then the good thing about this app is literally it tells you, because hey, you know, you could go for your yearly physical, but the doctor won't have as great contextual data, because remember, context is everything. If you could take a snapshot over a period of time, you know, so let's say every 30 days. So I do every 30 days, I upload all my data, and then it does a snapshot, right? And then we look at the report and then see, hey, what do I need to do? Do I need to, I'm also lowering my intake window, meaning my feeding window. So I don't need anything before 12, and surely stop eating by 7. I want to lower that, you know, 2023, and notice something happened. I think that was, I don't know what happened in 2023, to be honest, right? It says that's when something really drastic happened. 2022, I was great. I think that's when I started. That was when that was the pandemic time for sure. I was really working out. I mean, there was nothing else to do, right? It was just consultations and working out, right? I think 23, what happened is, yeah, the world opened up, right? It opened up, and all of a sudden now, you could see 217, 22. The range was between two, at least within 10 pounds. I jumped from, you know, between, I was yo-yoing, right? I was like a yo-yo diet, 237, 240. That's crazy, right? 2024, I think I started the recovery, right? VO2 max was still low. Like, I'm trying to go back to this, you know, so I'm getting there, right? The key thing is I'm getting there. You can see a trend line. My health is definitely trending up, right? So I got to keep up with it, right? I got to keep up with it. Sleep, you know, 2022, you know, 2024, my target, 2026 is to definitely increase my sleep. VO2 max, right now it's 31.3. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to higher than that. I think right now it's what? VO2 max is 27.96. I gotta definitely work on that. My current, so I'm not 220, you know, I don't know where this came from. I'm not 220, you know, I'm 215 right now. So my goal is to try and get to 190 based on my height, right? So literally, like, you know, and then the good thing about this, it actually just gives you this dashboard where I can go in and see, okay, like I said, you know, sleep is the number 1 priority. The second one is definitely to reduce my heart rate variation, HRV, you know, and then VO2. I think if I could get in ample enough sleep, you know, and then the variation comes from just doing a couple of things, the zone 2 training, you know, because I try and train hard, you know, but the problem is the consistency. So VO2 max, break the weight cycle, you know, 23, yeah. So eating is really important, you know, 12 to 7. I can reduce this even further, you know, log weight every Monday morning in Apple Health. Okay, I'll do that. And then daily steps, like if I could get to at least lunch and dinner glucose adds 2,000 steps. Okay, so even squats, I was listening to Brian Johnson where he said he's doing after every so often, he's doing maybe every 2-3 hours, he's doing like 45 squats. He said, which is way better than walking. But, you know, I mean, the key thing is motion, like movement. You'll never hurt yourself with movement, right? I mean, if you do it rigorously. And sometimes, like, you don't even really need to run, just walking, right? Just walking is great. Like, you'll be amazed at the benefits you get just from walking. It doesn't have to be a vigorous walk. It could just be get those steps in, right? Get those steps in, and especially right after eating, that helps a ton. And then I'm 51, so definitely getting creatine. I take the tablets. I have the creatine tablets because what happens is, yeah, sarcopenia. Sarcopenia prevention is when, because of age, you lose a little bit of muscle mass, right? Muscle mass, right? So taking the creatine definitely helps. Doing a little bit of weightlifting also really helps. So that's me right there. That was a summary of my health. I'm tracking, like track. Whoever has the most data actually understands their system, because remember, you are a system. Your body is a system. And if you could truly understand it, sometimes you have way more data than the doctor, and you have way more context, whereby you don't have to take in everything that your doctor is telling you. I'm not saying fight them or anything, but work with your doctor, because now you have all the data. Hopefully this helps. Take care. Cheers. Lee Karaoke. Bye.